MCT. We are very honored to be a part of your series, and I love the fact that you are so passionate about bringing information to our prospective students, bringing information to the parents and guardians and support team of those prospective students. And so for everyone who was on the call today or who may be able to listen to this recording later, please know that there are a plethora of people out here, a plethora of experts that are here to really support your next steps and to answer all of your questions. And being able to build your portfolio with who those people are and what your questions are and how to get them answered is exactly why we are here today. And so again, Ms. Brown, thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon to everyone. What I'm going to do is present some basic information through the slides that you'll see on your screen, but I also love questions. Please feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, and we will engage with our audience throughout the presentation, as well as save some time at the end to make sure that everyone today walks away with an understanding of what J. Sargent Reynolds has to offer and what their next steps could look like. So turning to the presentation that you should see on your screen. Again, my name is Miss Jessica Anderson. I am what you would call a high school recruiter, high school outreach for J. Sargent Reynolds. My colleague, Mr. Steve Vhorn, the two of us go out and we promote Reynolds. So if you see us in the community, we will go to all of our local high schools. We will go to different events, whether they're sponsored by the Office of Community Wealth Building, the City of Richmond, wherever we can to help students learn about what we have to offer. And what I hope you see depicted on the screen, or maybe what you already know about Reynolds, is that we are really for every student wherever they are in their educational journey. So current high school students, recent high school graduates, as well as adult learners, if anybody is out there that is 40, 50 plus looking to add to their credentials or even to switch their career, we're hoping that we are able to help those, hence the name Community College. We are here in the community to support our community. And it is important to know that there are 23 of us, 23 community colleges throughout the state of Virginia. And of course, that idea is based around being able to be accessible to wherever you are. Just think with, traffic or driving or just getting anywhere. We want to cut down on those barriers. And so our community colleges, we do not have dormitories. We do not provide living space because the idea is that we want you to save money. We want you to save money, whether you're looking at transferring to that four-year school and maybe having that campus experience one day, or being able to earn the credentials that you need to build your career. So what you want to do is when you're looking at the community college, what it has to offer and where you want to go, where you want to attend college, you want to look at geographically, ideally no more than a 60-mile, I like to think of it as, 60-minute, but like really 30 minutes to get from home to the closest campus. And so what you see on your map here is the 23 throughout the state of Virginia. And what I want to point out to you is that Reynolds is within the greater Richmond region, but we also serve, Hanover, Henrico, Louisa, and those that are south of the river. So think Chesterfield are going to be more so in that Bright Point region. So what you want to do is pay very close attention to the similarities across the board, just as much as the differences, because there are some programs that are unique to Reynolds, just as much as there are some programs that are unique to Bright Point. Just know that when you apply to both, we can see that because, we're connected together. So being able to decide if Reynolds is the best fit for you, thinking of that geographic location in addition to the programs that we offer. So let's start with location. So depending on where you are, where home is right now, again, thinking of that, 15 to 30-minute drive, but also public transportation. We do know that that is a huge piece for our students, being able to access our campuses, to be able to take the classes that they are interested in. So we have 4 locations, and what you see on your screen, the Parent Road campus is really the one that feels most like a college campus, if you will. Multiple buildings, green space. It is located more so, in Henrico, but not too far from any of our local schools, local high schools, and hopefully not too far from where home is for you. The Parent Road campus is going to be where we have all of our programs where students can take classes in all of our programs, but it's going to be very unique to our STEM as well as our welding program and our automotive. We have partnered with Toyota, so we have a T10 program. That's that partnership with Toyota, and that space is on the Parham Road campus. We've just renovated our welding space, and so we have a lot of upgrades that we are offering to the Parham Road campus just as much as the downtown campus. So depending on where you are in the region, downtown is actually going to be closer to VCU, and it's a 6-story building right in the heart of downtown, right next to VCU, 6 stories with a parking deck attached to it. But that is going to be the home to our School of Health Professions, as well as some of our educational classes and our skilled trades. And so really depending on where you are, but then what you're interested in studying, think about the School of Health Professions, our nursing, our EMT, all of those lab spaces, which have also recently been renovated, are all going to be very unique to the downtown campus. I'm going to skip to number 4 because we're just right in that region there. Reynolds, one of the things that is unique to us is the fact that we are the only 2-year college that offers a 2-year accredited degree in the culinary arts. And so students can come to us and get their applied associates. And that program is just booming, as you can imagine, in terms of accessibility and being able to meet the needs of our region. So the Kitchens at Reynolds is our newest location, which is not far from the downtown campus, that is unique to our programs in the culinary arts. And so I point out to you that 1, 4, and 2 are all connected on a shuttle loop so that students can literally park at any of those 3 locations and be able to jump on a shuttle and be able to get to either space. The shuttle runs on the hour, every hour, to support our students. And last but not least is the Goochland campus. Guys, there's a lot of renovations happening out in that area right now. It is the home to our horticulture program. Automotive used to be out there, but we've moved it closer to be more accessible to our students. So just keep your eyes and ears open on Goochland as more updates are coming. So why does that matter, right? Why do we want to go to college? Why are we wanting to invest more time past our secondary education? Why would anybody want to stay in school past the 12th grade? Sometimes you sit back and you ask yourself that question, like, boy, I'm just tired. I'm done with school. I can't even imagine being in a classroom. Well, because we believe in the value of higher education. Our society teaches us that degree, the experience of earning the degree, has an immeasurable value, but then also when it comes to your career, the earning potential, right? Being able to study something and being able to take what you have learned to allow you to build your career and to do something that you're not only passionate about, but to be able to do it well. So what you see here, this slide and the next slide, you're seeing what we call career clusters. And so we offer 85 plus majors at J. Sargent Reynolds. And one way to kind of narrow it down, if you're not sure what you're looking for, if you're not sure if we offer it, is to think of these clusters. So we have majors within the areas of business, construction and manufacturing, education, culinary arts, just as much as we have majors in the health professions, law and public safety, information technology, and transportation. So being able to kind of figure out what you want to do to answer that lifelong question of what do I want to be when I grow up, we have majors within all of these fields, and we have advisors that are here to help you. We have career services, and we have online platforms where we have the opportunity to kind of work with you to figure out what you do well and how that can translate to a degree and being able to pursue that here at Reynolds. I am going to take business as an example as we move to the next slide. So if everyone will agree, time is money, right? So we're talking about post-secondary education. We're talking about where in our society, a lot of times when we think of college, we're thinking of that 4-year degree, right? We're thinking of that bachelor's, maybe even continuing on to a master's or a PhD. Well, you wouldn't come to Reynolds to earn your bachelor's degree. You would come to Reynolds if you are interested in earning that bachelor's degree, and you would start with us and then transfer. So we have a guaranteed transfer program just as much as we have degrees that are not meant to transfer, that are not meant to take 4 years to complete. And so looking at this visual here, I want you to draw your eyes to where it says Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. So those are 2 years. So kind of think of 2 plus 2, right? So you come to Reynolds and you take what is referred to as core classes. Core classes are going to be very common across institutions. So your college level English, your college level math and science, and being able to get those core classes that you would take at that 4-year institution, but you would stay home, you would save some money, you would be able to have smaller class sizes. So you're taking the same classes, and the classes that you take are actually dictated by that institution that you want to transfer to. So you do 2 years with us, and then you transfer. Using business as an example. So we have a degree called business administration. So the business administration associates is going to give you those core classes. It's going to provide a core foundation in the area of business administration, but then you would take those 2 years and transfer to a 4-year school to get your major specific classes. I hope that makes sense. But on the flip side of that, or maybe the alternative, or maybe even if you're not too sure, if you're ready to commit to a 4-year program, think of, again, the area of business, and let's take accounting as an example. We have an accounting program that is an accounting associate of applied science. So what you see at the top of this list here, it's also a 2-year program, but what it's going to do is offer you classes that are specific to accounting, not those core classes, but specific to accounting. And if you see where I'm going here, 2 years of classes specific to accounting in a general business sense, but specific to accounting, are going to make you employable, are going to make you ready to go out there in the workforce, start building your career, and then if deciding to come back and continue your education, or take that Associate of Applied Science and soar with it. Same concept in the area of business, though. If I draw your eye to the bottom there, you see a certificate and a career studies certificate. So we talked about business administration transfer, so 2 plus 2, 4 years. We talked about accounting, Associate of Applied Science, 2 years, start working. But we also have something, our entrepreneurship degree. We have an entrepreneurship certificate that is designed to take you about a year and a half. And same concept, right? You are not taking a whole bunch of core classes, but rather you're focusing on that specific major so that you can go out there and start building your career and deciding if you need or want further education. So Ms. Brown, what I'm going to do here, because I just said a mouthful, and I realized, like, well, wait a second, what is she talking about? Like, what does that mean? I want to give you guys a visual. So I stopped that share so that I can show you some of our program checklist, if you will. So what I'm pulling up now is the checklist for the business administration degree. Ms. Brown, if I can get a thumbs up, do we see business administration transfer at the top? Okay, very good. So there's a lot of words here. We're not going to read that together, but I'm going to scroll down. So what you see is the curriculum, right? And you see a list of classes and you see credit hours. And I'm just going to kind of scroll, right? So we see classes, we see principles of macroeconomics, we see English, English 112, excuse me, business law, some science mixed in here, some accounting, some statistics. So what I want to draw your eye to is right here where it says a total of 60 to 62 credit hours. And basically, guys, what that means is 2 years, estimated 2 years, if you were to take 5 to 6 classes per semester, with the intent of doing 2 years at Reynolds and then transferring to a 4-year school. The 4-year school is going to be looking for these specific credit hours, which is equivalent to your freshman and sophomore year of college. And as you kind of see the fine print right here, there's some examples with VCU. Well, we have agreements with pretty much every four-year school in Virginia, and those agreements dictate the classes that you would take. And so you're not taking everything that you see on this list, but rather our advisors would work with you to make sure that you have that foundation so that you do transfer into that four-year school as a junior with all of the core classes that you would need. So that's an example of the 2+2. But let me stop sharing on this one and show you another example, because the entrepreneurship is completely opposite. So let's take a look at this one. So here we have our entrepreneurship and small business. It is a career studies certificate. And so it's not an associate's degree, but it's still a degree, right? You're still going to walk across our stage. You're still going to graduate from Reynolds with this entrepreneurship and small business career studies certificate. And if you can already guess, right, how far down am I going to scroll? So all of our majors are going to have an orientation, but what you see here is introduction to business, entrepreneurship, small business management, sales and marketing, customer service management, and oh my goodness, can I really just go to college and take 16 credit hours and graduate? Can I really just go to college for a year, maybe maximum year and a half, and graduate with a credential that will help me to get out there in the field and start working and building my career? The answer is yes. Guys, I come to you with a master's degree, a passion for higher education, but also realizing, like I said, time is money. We really do want to look at, and I'm speaking to our young people just as much as our adult learners, you really have to look at what you want to invest your time and your resources into, what you're passionate about, what you're interested in. And if you're not sure, or better yet, if you want to take a very wise approach, I'm encouraging you. I think Ms. Brown is encouraging you to look at the community college experience and realize that it is the opposite of taking a gap year, but it is the opposite of a four-year college, right? You're still getting what you need, but you're getting it in a different approach, in a different format, to be able to really make a wise decision as to how you want your educational journey to look. So let's take that back to the presentation. So what I just did is I gave you an example that was specific to the area of business, but keep in mind, as you saw in all those different icons, that we have everything from business to the health professions to welding, STEM areas. We have an engineering associates. And so our goal is to offer a plethora of majors to meet the needs of our community, to meet the demands of the workforce, and to be able to offer them with a goal in mind. But keep in mind, as you see on this slide here in the top where it says estimated time to completion, it's really up to you. It's up to you how many classes you take per semester. I see it a lot with students who are coming straight out of high school or may have been out of the education system for quite some time, that they're like, wait a second, 5, 6 classes? I'm not ready for that yet. And that's okay. You may start your first semester with us and take 2 to 3 classes. And as you kind of build your momentum back up, you may add on more classes. Just keep in mind that we have a fall semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester. So you're going to have a couple different options throughout the year. And our semesters, even though there's a set start date for the full semester, so like in August to December, which is like 15 weeks, we also offer shorter term classes within each semester. So a lot of different options that you can discuss with your advisors. So, woo, right? A lot to think about. And keep in mind, we're not expecting you to decide these things on your own. We have advisors, we have navigators, we have people like myself and Mr. Vhorn who are here to help you figure out what the best option may be. This slide right here is a visual. It's a visual of this amazing opportunity that we have that's called guaranteed transfer. So even if you don't see your school of interest on this slide, please know that we have agreements with pretty much every school in the state of Virginia, except for VMI. And our most popular schools that students transfer to are listed at the top. I happen to be Virginia Tech class of 2004, and so go Hokies. But keep in mind that this is something that we are very proud of. And the key part to remember, guys, is that when we say guaranteed transfer, these schools are not looking at your high school GPA as part of that guaranteed transfer. They are expecting you to have graduated from high school just as much as we are, but what they're looking at is your 2 years, or however long it takes you, your time at Reynolds, the classes that you take, making sure they're on that checklist, and the GPA that you earn during your time at Reynolds, not, and again, I'll say not your GPA in high school. So just keep that in mind. We talked a lot about academics. And of course, hey, that's what college, when we think about it, it's the academics, it's getting that degree. But I also know that the college experience is a huge part of your decision to pursue higher education. And yeah, it's different. It's different than attending, say, VCU. It's different than attending tech. I hope for you all to always have the opportunity to go to a college football game, or to be able to be a part of a student life organization. And I want you to know that even though you're not going to be able to go to a football game here at Reynolds, we do have a very active student life. We do have a mascot. We do have different opportunities for students to network with each other. We have a PTK Honor Society, which is a national honor society for all 2-year colleges. We do have student government. And basically what I'm saying to you is, when you set your schedule up with an advisor, you're not going to be required to be here 5 days a week. You may set your schedule up where you have classes on, say, Tuesdays and Thursdays because you need to go to work on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or you have family obligations. We realize that students are going to have a lot of different things that they need to juggle, but we do have a student life office on our Perrin Road and downtown campus. And those guys, hey, sometimes they'll just pop popcorn or play a movie or give out free food. Like, they want to engage you in their activities. And I like to think of it as networking. It's being able to get to know other people who are doing the same thing that you are, but just outside of the classroom space. In addition to the college experience of having fun, please know that we offer a lot of support services, and all of it is free. Everything you see on the screen there, from tutoring, which is offered through our Math Central and our Writing Studio, as well as our nursing students preparing for the HESI. In addition to our advisors, campus safety, Finish Line. This is speaking to our students who may benefit from social services, or may have been a part of the foster care system, or even, let's just say, during the college experience, we run into some hurdles. It's making sure that you know that there's a team of people that are here to support you and to help you cross the finish line. That includes mental health services, that includes a food pantry, that includes our meditation rooms, making sure that our students are people before they go into the classroom, that they are healthy and doing well and being able to focus on their academics. And of course, that also includes libraries, free parking, free shuttle. We talked about that. And I want you to know that just as much as our classes are offered virtually, we also offer these services virtually. Okay, so we're wrapping up here, right? Getting ready for any questions that you all may have, but what is the cost of this? At the end of the day, we know that there's a value to education. And as with most things that have a value, there's a cost, right? I'm waiting for the day that I can go into the grocery store and just get a loaf of bread and it not cost me more than $5. But there's a value to it. And that's why we invest in it. And what you see on the screen is our in-state tuition, as well as our out-of-state tuition rates. And I just want you guys to keep in mind 2 different things. One is that with that in-state tuition, right, you see it per credit. And so you're not paying $171 per class, but rather, remember when we looked at that example, most of the classes are 3 credit hours. So I like to kind of round that 171 up to about $600. So one 3 credit class is going to cost you on about $300. But what you see in that green circle there, and that number keeps going up, there's money out there, guys. There's the Reynolds Scholarship that we open every year from December to March, and we provide a full, quote unquote, full ride to one of our high school graduates from all of our partner schools, in addition to students who simply complete that scholarship application and are looking for some support in addition to their FAFSA. Completing the FAFSA and applying to some of our specific programs, for example, in the School of Health Professions or Information Technology, could make you eligible for something called G3. That is something to complement your FAFSA because we think of it as like high demand career areas. We want to make sure that we are helping you as much as possible to pay your tuition, but make sure you're talking to your GRASP advisors as well. I just heard that they also have some funding that will support you coming to Reynolds, in addition to what ECMC is making sure that you guys know about. So just know that there's money out there, and our goal is to not only keep the cost very low, but to help get you connected to as many different financial assistance means as necessary so that this money does not have to come out of your pocket. And at the end of the day, if it does, keep in mind that we have a payment plan option, and we are never, ever, ever going to pay you for more than what you're registered for. So if a student decides to take 2 classes a semester or their first semester of college, it is not like we're not going to charge you that full time 12 credit hours. We're only going to charge you for the actual credit hours that you're registered for, and when you're getting ready to take them will dictate when that money is due. So in other words, we're very flexible and supportive. So there's a QR code right here, guys. What I want you to know is that the application process is something that I think is quite simple. It's definitely not like a 4-year. We're not looking for essays. We're not looking for SATs or ACTs. You could go online and you could apply right now. So for any of my seniors that are listening today, class of 2024, congratulations. If you haven't applied to Reynolds yet, if you've applied, and you're not too sure what to do, or you're just not sure at all, what's going to happen after graduation, that is okay. For any of the adult learners that are out there that are looking for some changes or looking for career credentials, that is something that we specialize in. And so we want you to reach out to us so that we can guide you through the application process. And Ms. Brown, I'm going to pause to see if there's any questions, but I also want to show you guys the website so that everybody will know where to go to access the application and be able to get that started if it is something that they're interested in.
Thank you so much for all of this information. I'm over here jotting down notes, seriously, because I've even learned some new things about J. Sergeant Reynolds. So thank you, first and foremost, for giving your time and your energy, your excitement about Reynolds, because it certainly is palpable. So I'll wait to see if the 2 folks we have on the call have any questions, because I have a couple myself. All right, well, I'll jump into mine. If they have some, they can throw them in the chat or you can come off mute. But the first question, so I get a lot of calls from parents parents of students who have disabilities, who have IEPs and 504 plans, and they are interested in pursuing education at Reynolds or even any other school, right? But the question is often, how do they go about getting the support they need academically on their campuses? What would that process look like at Reynolds?
Great question, Ms. Brown. And thank you for doing that, because I think that, when we go through this process of applying to college, and once we, get to the point where like, okay, I want to go and this is how I go, you're like, okay, well, wait a minute, I still have some more questions. I'm not too sure about how to do these things. And the most important thing is to ask. And so the answer to that question is we do have an Office of Accommodations that is here physically in person as well as online to meet the needs of our students. And so if the student is coming to us from high school and they have that IEP or they have that 504, what we want the student and the parents to recognize is that it's not a direct transfer. We're not going to pick up that IEP and bring it over to Reynolds, but we will consider the accommodations that were made in high school. And the biggest thing is to advocate for yourself. And let me be very clear for any parents that are listening to this. Parents, I understand. My son is 16 years old and I will advocate for him forever, right? But we want to empower the young people. So we see it a lot where the parents will email and say, well, what should my son or daughter do? Try not to do that. encourage your young person to reach out, because our staff, we're ready, and we know that they're teenagers, we understand. So we will communicate and we will direct them as to what to do to request services. We will direct them as to how to set up a meeting to be able to go over their IEP or their 504 and to determine what services they know they would like to have in college, and just as much as the ones that they know that they would not like to have. So of course, we're thinking of, testing accommodations just as much as, read aloud and those different types of services. Our office is equipped to support those students, and we encourage them to reach out during the application process. And so students can apply right now. The application is not going to ask any questions about accommodations, so it's okay. We actually encourage you to go ahead and complete the application and then reach out so that we can connect you with the Office of Accommodations.
That's super helpful,
Yeah.
honestly. At least knowing that there's a space and that
Right.
they'll be able to get the support, for sure, will be helpful. All right, my last question. If a student if a student who's graduating now from high school decides they want to go to Reynolds with the expectation that they want to transfer to a four-year school, how early should they start making those connections? Who should they talk to? And ideally, what would that look like for them?
Right, right. So great question. And I love your options that you have on your screen there. So let's just take VSU for example. So if we have a high school graduate, a senior who knows that they want to go to VSU, that is their dream school, and they know for personal and academic reasons, or a mix of, the two, that they would like to start at Reynolds. It is great that they know that they want to go to VSU, but maybe they are looking at VSU and William and Mary. Maybe they're looking at all of the different schools. That is okay. The application to Reynolds is not going to ask you what school you want to transfer to, but it will ask you if you're interested in transferring. So when you go through, I believe it's on step 3 of our 6-step application, it will say, what is your educational goal? So you'll select transfer. The other option is gain the skills necessary to build your career. So you select transfer, and all of our transfer options will come up. So whether it is an Associates of Science or an Associate of Arts, you'll select that program. And then after you submit the application, you will plan to meet with an advisor. And it is during that conversation that you would let the advisor know what schools you're interested in. The Virginia Community College system has a whole transfer portal, and it's called Transfer VA. And that is something that students will be guided to, so they can actually create a profile that will show them these different checklists, so they can look at VSU versus, William and Mary. And I realize major differences there, but you get what I'm saying, that being able to look at the different schools to decide which one is the best fit for them, all the while having an academic advisor here at Reynolds, making sure that they're taking the classes on the timeline that works for them.
Awesome. Again, very helpful. Very, because usually when I get the call, I'm like, I'm sure there's a transfer dean. I'm
Right,
sure there's a transfer coordinator. But
right.
to be able to like name, okay, on the application, that'll be the first place that you'll have the opportunity to kind of self-identify as a student who is interested in transferring, and knowing that
Yeah.
process is super, super duper helpful. And thanks for reminding me about Transfer Virginia Portal.
Mm.
I know it's there and it kind of floats around, but when you reminded me, I'm like, yes, 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 that is a great process.
And,
Well,
we can do, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
They say, because in this world, in the digital age, we want to do everything online. I prefer a text message over a phone call, but then sometimes I prefer the phone call over a text message. And at the end of the day, if you're able to talk to somebody face to face, it's better than all of it. And so we really do encourage students that if they're not sure, please don't try to look online, reach out to us. So that's where that QR code comes in handy. And Ms. Brown, I really do welcome, whether it is an email from a prospective student, even a text message. Students are welcome to text me and just say, hey, Ms. Brown told me about you, and I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure why, but, we can have a conversation to figure this out. Definitely want your audience to know, don't try to guess,
Yes.
especially in the application. If there's a part of the application that you're not too sure about, it is better to ask before you submit. And so I hope that, students will know that they can come to you and the team here at Reynolds.
No, thank you. I really do appreciate all the things that you highlighted. Specifically, I love that you leaned into the certificate program for entrepreneurship. There are so many young adults, and as a function of my job, we go to a lot of college fairs, and table make our services available to folks. And I'm often asking students, so what do you want to study? And they'll say, oh, I want to study photography. Okay, what are you planning on doing with that? Taking pictures. Are you taking pictures now? Yes. So I was like, I may be naive, but what is the degree in photography going to add to your expertise?
Right.
And I said, well, what is it that you want to? I want to be a professional photographer, and I want to be able to train other people around it. And I want to be, and I was like, well, it sounds like you want a business. It sounds like you already have the skill element of this. You might want to lean into learning some business skills. So I'd say go to the community college, take a couple courses in business, in accounting, in entrepreneurship to make sure that you have an understanding of what the legal obligations are, what the policy obligations are in terms of the state of Virginia. But thinking about ways that, really getting to the root of, okay, what is it that you want to do? Not what is it that you want to study? And helping us, what is it that you really need in this process? I know it sounds great to say you're going to college. I know it sounds great. I know that's what they push at a lot of the schools. I mean, I often say we care about what the college acceptance rate is at high schools. And I'm like, so then let's circle back 6 years later. And let's look at that college graduation rate. And then that's something that we can celebrate.
Absolutely.
But I'd rather students identify pipelines that are going to get them authentically prepared for what's to come. And, sometimes it makes sense if you want to study photography. If it's free, if you can see the degree actually working for you, great. But if you already have specialized in that skill and you want to lean into making money with this, and you already have an idea of just kind of how you want to use your skill in ways that are beneficial to the public or that are lucrative, the way to, my opinion, is the way to approach it is by figuring out what your deficits are and then use coursework to kind of fill in those gaps to get you ready. So I appreciate it. I might email you about that entrepreneurship.
Well said, well said. And that's what we're here for. Entrepreneurship is just one of many examples where it's like, okay, well, wait a second. What is actually going to help you in the long run?
Yes. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to tell a couple people about that program for real.
Please do. Please do. We are here. We are here. And Ms. Brown, before we close up, because I promised your audience that I was going to show them on the website real quick where to go. And so is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen one more time because, guys, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it may be now, it may be August, it may be a year from now that you're like, okay, that Reynolds thing sounds interesting. So I want you to know the website reynolds.edu, and there's two different things I'm gonna draw your attention to. If you're ready to apply, right, you know that you want to go the entrepreneurship route or you want to go the business administration and transfer, what you want to do is come to the homepage and simply click on apply now. You're going to see a graduation photo. You want to make sure that you click here, the word here, to create an account first, and then come back to actually complete the application. And that is how you will go through the steps to apply. You'll know that you have been accepted, not because there's going to be a letter in the mail or that there'll be confetti falling from the screen, but the application will generate your student ID number and your username, and it will prompt you to log into what we call your My Reynolds account. Guys, that is how you know you've been accepted. We do not go through a whole bunch of extra hoops. We want to get you in, get what you need, and move on. So that is how you will know. That's our most common question. Well, how do I know that I was accepted? So that's what you would do. And then if I can close this window, you should still, so we're back at the home page now. If you're not sure, guys, if you're not sure what you want to apply to, you're not too sure if this is for you, you see this sign up now. You want to click there and you would say, I'm considering starting at Reynolds. And what that's going to do is take you to this request form. And this information goes straight to what we call a navigator. We have navigators that are available to provide one-on-one assistance to kind of help you figure this thing out. So again, we do not want students to go about this alone. We have a team of people here to help them out. And before I officially close, I definitely want to say one more thing. And that is to the seniors that are out there, class of 2024. Guys, keep in mind that we do have a summer bridge program as well. So it's being able to do the application, make this huge decision to go to college, but then also allow yourself some grace to start a little bit early. So we do have a summer bridge program that will be in July. It's 3 weeks in July, just Monday through Thursday in the morning time, because we understand folks want to work, folks want to enjoy their summer, but we also want to get you ready for August so that you're not jumping in after a whole summer of no academics and like, whoa. So we want to get you ready. It is a free opportunity in July. And so we just want students to know that we're here in so many different ways to support them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was great news, not just for students who are graduating, but adult learners who are just trying to figure out what's next. Community college is a great option. Reynolds provides phenomenal support. They have several campuses, and it really is a great resource to help you get started. You're just trying to figure out what is that next step. It's affordable, and they're reliable, credentialed coursework. I love that they're offering a culinary arts program in an associate's degree level. Oftentimes, when students are interested, they're limited to for-profit options for culinary arts. So I say if it's offered at the community college, you can trust it. Not that you can't trust other avenues, but for a fact that those are state funded, state vetted. And so it's a series of hoops that they have to jump through in order to offer a good quality, high quality program. So I'm excited to actually start promoting that, because quite a few students are interested in culinary arts, but are only considering options that are going to cost them $50,000 and $60,000 a year. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. This recording is going to be made available to everyone who registered. And we're also going to send it out on our email listserv. So if anyone needs more information, please by all means reach out to Jessica Anderson. You saw the QR code. That's the way that you can get your name, I guess, in their presence, or they have an awareness that you're interested, so they can loop you in. And you can always reach out to me if you're like, I can't figure it out. Shoot me an email, tbrown@ecmt.org, and I'll make sure you get connected for sure. So thanks again, Ms. Anderson, for your time. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
You too.